Am I the a-hole for ruining my parents' marriage by finding my bio father and exposing my mom's lies? I, 19 male, always knew my dad wasn't my bio dad, and it was never a huge deal. I knew I was loved either way. Mom always told us my bio father had wanted to be a dad and walked away once he learned she was pregnant. When I was 12, I started struggling with health issues, and we were repeatedly asked for a family medical background. Mom swore she reached out to ask bio for any insight on his side, but he refused to give it. At the time, we were told it would be ideal to find out more if we could, but if not, we would do our best to treat me. My dad and I talked about it a lot, and he comforted me when I was upset that this guy who made me hated me so much that he wouldn't even help for a medical problem. It meant added complications, and always having to explain to new doctors I was referred to that I only had half my family medical history and could not get more. And really, it just sucked to think he cared so little if I could be seriously ill or not. A year ago, my aunt, Mom's sister, told me that things might not be like they seemed, and maybe it would be a good idea to search for answers myself. She said the worst that could happen is he refuses to answer or gets mad at me for making contact. I asked her what she meant about things not being what they seemed, but she was tight-lipped on it, so I did a 23andMe. I ended up matched with a paternal aunt, and from there Mom's lies were exposed to me. My paternal aunt was shocked to learn about me, and she told me she was 100% certain her brother had no idea either. She was a go-between for us at first to help set up contacting and a face-to-face meeting. When we met, he had medical info waiting for me, and he told me it was a thing I inherited from his side, and he would be a donor if I ever needed one. He was also apologizing the whole time for not knowing me, and he swore he was never told Mom was pregnant. They broke up because she cheated, and he never heard from her again or her sister, Aunt who pushed me to search, who he got along with during his relationship with Mom. The medical info helped, and I told him I'd have way more questions once I processed. Then I went to talk to Mom. At first, she said it was all lies, then asked why I searched without saying anything, and when I told her why, she admitted it was true. She said she met Dad after the guy she cheated on my bio father with left her, and she came up with a lie so we could be a normal family. And she never told my bio about me, even after I got sick, because she wanted to keep things as they were. I was hurt, but so was my dad. He was mad she denied my bio father and me the chance to know each other, but also that she lied to him the whole time they had known each other. He felt like she made him complicit in keeping me and my bio father apart. And he was super angry she was willing to make my health stuff more difficult because I didn't have the full background, rather than do the right thing and expose her lies years ago for my sake. The medical info I got was actually helpful for my medical team, so it was worth it in that sense. But it has ruined my relationship with Mom, and my parents' marriage is done. Dad wants a divorce and already moved out of their house. My siblings blame me for it because they know what went down between us all. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. What your mom did is awful and extremely selfish. She literally lied to everyone and denied your bio dad a relationship with you and vice versa. I hope you can talk to your siblings, and I'm sure they'll understand at some point. This is not your fault. These are the consequences of your mom's actions. Right now, my siblings are refusing to talk to me, even with Dad telling them it's not my fault. They say it is, because if I had left it alone, nobody else would know, and our family would be happy. Dad's trying to stop that mindset, but they're not changing their mind on this. That's very selfish of them, considering your health issues. It was medically important for you to reach out to him. If it was them, they'd have done the same. It's easy to be all high and mighty when you aren't the one with your health at stake. My dad tried pointing that out, but it did nothing. They said I didn't need the info to live. But that wasn't true either. We didn't know if mine was the one that could quickly turn life-threatening or not. Now we know, and it's literally life-saving for me, because we know mine is that one. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not reaching out to my sister after her stillbirth, or expressing any sympathy to her? 10 weeks ago, my sister, 33 female, had to deliver her stillborn daughter after learning her heart had stopped beating at 21 weeks. I, 31 female, have been low contact with her for a number of years now. We see each other twice a year tops, and I have her number and socials all blocked. Our family knows this, but they and my sister still expected me to reach out and express sympathy to her. But I didn't. My parents are the most vocal about how heartless it is to not come together after a huge loss like this. But I don't think our past issues can be washed away by her loss. Her going through this does not change everything that's happened for me. This might be why I'm the a-hole, because maybe it should. I'll let people decide. My sister and I were never that close. As kids, we got along fine. We didn't fight much, but we didn't interact much either until our teens, and that's when she decided I was our grandparents' favorite, and that I didn't deserve to ever be happy because of it. She was jealous that my husband and I started dating in high school and made our relationship work for this long without ever breaking up. She taunted my inability to conceive naturally. She rubbed 2 of her previous pregnancies in my face and her super fertility. She even used her babies to taunt me, and not all of it was just something hurtful to me but to them. Like when she had her second, she told me she didn't even want her kids, but she had them because she knew it hurt me. For me, that was the final straw, and this is when I went low contact. But I felt bad for her kids too, because whether she meant it or not, if they had been older, that would have been horrific to hear their mom say. She showed no remorse for saying it either, and all future interactions were her very much gloating about her ability to have kids. It was something she was called out for by other people in our family. But now I'm supposed to forget about that and be there for her apparently. I can't bring myself to, not even for a brief text, and maybe that makes me the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Your sister is an outright bitch. This, OP's sister, is 100% the a-hole. She spent years flexing her super fertility like it was some kind of superpower and literally used her kids as ammo to hurt you. Now she's shocked Pikachu face that you're not rushing in with hugs and sympathy? Nah, tragedy sucks, but it doesn't come with a free erase all the awful things I did card. You're not heartless, you're just done being her emotional doormat. Not the a-hole. Do your parents know what she's been saying to you? If so, why would they think you'd want anything to do with her at this point? They know what she has said to me, and they believe that should be brushed aside now because of her loss. Nah, that nonsense can't and should never be brushed aside. It sucks that she lost the baby, but that doesn't negate the horrible things she's said about you. Your parents absolutely suck. Your sister has a personality disorder. Any condolences you gave, no matter how well worded, would have been twisted to further her victimhood. I would prepare myself for her to start a terror campaign against you. Your sister is a spiteful bitch, and maybe karma decided she didn't deserve another child. What a horrifically cruel thing to say to her sister, and about her own children. Not the a-hole. It is a horrible thing to go through, and I feel for her family, but as you say, it doesn't erase what she's done and said. I always come back to that. She said in front of her kids, who were too young to understand, that she had them to spite me and didn't want them really. Of all the things she said to me previously, that was easily the worst. I can't imagine hating someone enough to risk hurting my kids like that. And here's me, who would love kids, to have someone say it. That was the moment I knew I could never have a decent relationship with her. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my parents I will not be helping them with their rent? I, 18 female, moved out of my parents' house a little while ago as soon as I could. To provide some context, my parents were both emotionally abusive and have wronged me many times in my life, including threatening to get rid of my dog, which I have a whole post on. Since I moved out, I've been working a job and paying rent for an apartment I share with my friend and have had enough money left to save up a bit to go to college in a few years. I am the youngest in the family, so after I moved out, no one was left at home. Both my siblings moved out as well, so their financial support from my brother paying them rent for his bedroom has been cut off. I am completely independent and have told my parents multiple times that I want nothing to do with them and even blocked their numbers completely. Earlier this week, my grandmother called me and explained that my parents desperately need money for rent and asked if I could spare money from my college savings, which I saved up on my own so far, to help them. I outright refused and told my grandmother I would not be helping at all, since every penny in my savings is gathered by me working hard and supporting myself. I love my grandmother and told her that if she needed help herself, I was willing to help. but I would not help my parents. For this entire week, my aunt has been calling me repeatedly saying my parents really needed this and deserved it for raising me. My mom's side of the family threatened to cut me off if I didn't help, which is honestly so petty because I'm only 18 years old. They should be helping instead. I told my friend about it and she said that I was taking it too far and I should have helped. Now I'm wondering if I am the a-hole. Now for the top comments. They deserve it for raising you. No, that's what is legally required. You have children, you raise them. They don't owe you for doing that. Your aunt and your mom's side are all welcome to contribute to the rent if they are so concerned. You save up for some therapy as well, and good luck. Not the a-hole. My father pulled this same stunt. A house across the street from mine went up for sale, and I started getting messages saying that I owe him for raising me, and he thought that I should buy the house and give it to him as payment. When I said no, he went to Facebook and everywhere he could, posting about how terrible of a son I am to him for not being willing to buy him such a small token of my love and appreciation. I have since gone full no contact with him, as has the rest of the extended family. Not the a-hole at all. Not the a-hole. You are doing fantastic. Moved out, saving money for college, on your own. Cutting off your abusive family. Keep it up. Don't let anyone drag you back into that situation with their petty manipulations. You got this. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much that means to me. I truly appreciate the kind words from the bottom of my heart. Make sure your parents aren't on your bank account. Have it in a credit union or bank they've never used if possible. Also check your credit. Make sure they haven't taken out any loans or credit cards in your name. Lock it down. I will definitely contact my bank in the morning. Everyone seems to be warning me about that. Last story. Am I the a-hole for calling my ex on being a bad father to our son when he said he did not understand our son's bad relationship with him, his wife, and their kids? I, 34 female, have a 14-year-old son with my ex, 34 male. There has been a lot of difficulty in our relationship as parents, and I cannot call us co-parents. I have tried a few times, but my ex hates me, blames me for his bad choices, and holds it against me that I would not let his wife, aka the woman he left me for while I was pregnant, into our son's birth. Because I wouldn't allow his wife, girlfriend at the time, to be in the delivery room with me, he refused to come, and he has spent 14 years blaming me for that. He has stated I took away his chance to be present for the birth of his first child. But not only that, he also accused me of keeping him away from our son for the first 5 months of his life, when he was the one who did not reply to any texts or attempts to set up time for him to meet and spend time with our son. His extended family all met our son before he did. Even a couple of his cousins who live in another state met our son before him. Eventually, he filed for full custody and was awarded visitation instead. We were forced to take co-parenting classes together, and he tried to include his wife, who was his wife by this point, but the judge told him co-parenting would be between me and him, not me and his wife. The classes didn't help. Instead of taking anything said on board, he decided he would forever tell our son he wasn't at his birth and didn't meet him until he was 5 months old. Of course, he told our son I was the reason for all of this. My son was so confused for a while. But once my son knew the truth, or a version of it, his relationship with his dad and his dad's wife suffered. The reason his relationship with her suffered is because she was right alongside my ex blaming me, and she had her own part to play in things my son was told. Add to this, my ex has repeatedly said around or to our son that he was lucky to be at the birth of the 4 children he had with his wife. How it made a big difference to the bond and relationship. How he felt like a real father when he finally saw his child being brought into the world. My ex thought it would make our son hate me. He thought our son would believe everything he and his wife told him. But all it did was push our son away and strain all the relationships. My ex didn't want our son in therapy, but I petitioned the court for him to receive therapy, and I have petitioned for full custody before. Even with the backing of my son's therapist, custody remains 50-50, and my son needs to be 16 before he can influence custody. For more than 4 years now, he has wanted to live with me full-time, but it's just not happening. Recently, my son was in the hospital for a small surgery. It was relatively minor and he's doing great since. But my ex didn't show up until after our son was taken to the operating room, and he didn't show up to see our son, but to whine to me about our son not liking him or his family. He told me I need to fix whatever I did, because I have cost him enough of a relationship with our son. He said he couldn't understand our son's bad relationship with him and his family, that he was so sure our son would love the other kids and his wife, because they're a family. I told him to look in the mirror instead of pointing fingers at me, that he's been an awful father to our son, and if he took any time to reflect on his choices regarding him, then he would see it. My ex left the hospital after again blaming me for everything around the birth and the first 5 months. He said if I hadn't been spiteful and just let his woman, what he called her, be there, then none of this would have happened. He accused me of being vindictive in keeping them from the birth of their firstborn. He has sent around a dozen messages through the co-parenting app blaming me for everything and saying I'm still vindictive and petty. My attorney has made a note of everything. And at this time, I don't plan to go for custody again unless something bigger changes, because I'll be throwing money away. None of this is hugely different from any other time I tried, so I feel very stuck. And the reason I'm posting here is I worry this will make things worse for my son, because I pissed his father, and probably his wife, off more than they already were. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole, obviously. Narcissists will never acknowledge they're the problem. It must be everyone else. Just respond to everything with, "These are the consequences of your actions," or just blatantly ignore him. Don't interact other than for logistics regarding your son. If he's doing it in person, just walk off, start laughing, or yeah, be dismissive. Typically, I would ignore him and just keep it as civil as it can be. That's going to be my preferred way to handle it going forward too, because I don't want to make things any worse for my son. How is his extended family dealing with all this nonsense? And I assume nobody has called it out yet or won't? His extended family goes through me to see our son for the most part. They got tired of fighting about all of this. I know they pushed him those first 5 months, and even before over the birth, because they said he was getting more than most in his shoes would, and he was wasting it.